All right. Okay. So good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, programmers. So please bear with me. I'm going to discuss about the OOP principles now. So the start of uh, OOP. So by the way, when we talk about object-oriented programming or object-oriented principles, it's one of the most important concepts in programming. In fact, most of the based on my experience now from the industry and from all the projects that I made, these concepts are always present. Now, whether if it is uh, whether you're using different language, so it's just a concept, meaning to say you can apply this to several programming languages, if not all, no, so several. So it was C++ was known to be the first OOP, but it was not full-blown OOP yet during that time. So when Java arrives, Java offers this mechanism in which to really work on with real objects. Now, so that is why Java is known to be the father or the mother of OOP. So when we talk about OOP or object-oriented programming, would go directly be credited to Java. So always as it is. Now, however, of course, as the time went by, almost programming languages uh, that are actually parang up until now, no, I mean these programming languages, even sa una pa sila na nahimo, they're also adapting the OOP principles. Okay, and I also, these OOP principles, these are one, if ever you're going to like there's one when we had our tour in Cebu, no, we visited different uh, in their IT park. We visited different, what they call this one, companies, no, IT in the IT companies, and most of the skills that they were actually parang requiring, or they preferred, is they know Java language, no? So C++, Java language, and Python. So diri mago sa Davao na environment, diri sa Davao, no, it's ang ano nato diri is most likely nasa BPO, and then of naka gina-outsource sa, and most likely web, no, diri sa Mindanao region. Mga into web programming kayo ang diri, because our clients are actually from abroad, okay? So like still sa Cebu, ang mga ano nila, ang ilang mga clients are also abroad, but they are actually focused on the hardcore programming. So when we talk about hardcore programming, they are actually tasked, or parang their projects are almost all related to mga engines, no? Game engines, um, server, and all such na mga related na programs. That is why they need to hire people uh, who are who have these skills really in kana ganing sa mga low level languages, okay, or low to high level languages, which are Python and Java. And one of the interviews, I mean, one of the requirements, in getting the job is you have to know the OOP principles. At least explain them in a way you can explain them, no, in a way you understood these principles. So one of the one because when we actually did a simulation there, in of my students, no, and they were asked, most of the questions were about what are the four pillars of OOP, how did you understand objects, what is the relation of the object and the class, something like that. So those are the most of the questions that were asked now during the interview. So ayan, I just have to set an impression that when speaking of object-oriented principles, I really would tell you that this would really get you far, no? So it's because this is one of the most important concepts in programming, aside from, of course, data structures. And data structures is actually focused on like for computer science. But with the OOP, whether you're IT, IS, or your especially your CS, or if you're CS, you have to know these concepts. So there are four pillars, basic object-oriented principles that object-oriented principles. And these are encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. Okay, so we actually discussed this a little bit of encapsulation thing and abstraction in data structure. So I'm sure dili na kay ko maglisod og pasabot sa inyo with that matter. However, I'm going to discuss to you what are these four pillars of OOP. Okay, so when we talk about the four pillars of OOP, it means to say that when this is the these concepts are the fundamentals of OOP, and along the way, when you get to write a program, you will encounter most of them, and then probably apply them in a way, in a way you understand, or in a way how your program should behave. So now let's start with encapsulation. So when we talk about encapsulation, it's relating to an object. So everything we see in this world, whether what you are in right now, where you at, like you are probably you're in your room, or you're in probably outside of your home, wherever you are now. So we're actually surrounded with objects. Okay, so and these objects can be described using its property and its behavior, because that's what object is. Object has property and has behavior. Whether you're seeing there tree is an object. Okay, it can be characterized or described by its property, and it has its own behavior. So when you talk about tree, what tree is that? So a tree, okay, let's say we tag mango tree or mango tree or mango tree. So a mango tree has this branches going anywhere, and then it has leaves, and it will bear fruits like this and like that. So those are its characteristics, no? And you can describe a tree as something like that, no? It has roots, it has a stem, or in ana. But let's now yeah, that's how you deal with objects. That's how you deal with speaking of object and a class in a concept of encapsulation. So it's very important to understand them. It's because like if you're making a game and you're going to simulate an environment of, let's say, you have the river, you have the trees, everything there must be an object, and as an object it must be encapsulated. Okay, so when you talk about encapsulation is a process of putting the attributes and the associated behavior together in one class. So that's encapsulation. So let me ask you, for an instance, how way back before, no, wala pa mga tambal, how do we heal or how do we fix a broken heart bitaw? How do we actually heal kanang mga giubo gisip-on? Let's say kanang normal na ano lang, say tawag nato na kanang trangkaso. So how do we heal this, no, using sa mga old na mga or mga tradition? Ginaunsa nato na siya pagtambal sa una. I mean mga katigulangan, unsay mga tambal ana.
Tawa-tawa.
Okay. So tawa-tawa, unsa to? Tawa-tawa, unsa pa kaya?
Bix, kalabo.
Ha, kalabo o tawa-tawa, kalabo, especially sa mga bukid, no?
Bix.
Oo, Vicks. O, sige, tawa-tawa, kalabo, Vicks. Sige, ikog sa buaya. Apil ba ikog sa buaya? Sige. Bagtaks lamok. So, bitaw, imagine those are the parang, let's put it that way, na ingredients, no? Or parang these are what makes you becomes like mahil ka in that particular sickness, and you'll need this, no, mangita mao daw to siya. So those are the things na kailangan nimo. And then if so, of course dili lang na siya ingon na matambal din na imo lang ng ano 100. So because it has to be processed, right? Kailangan pa na i-process, whether sana pabukalan, and you must have followed the process properly. Tama ba ko? Para after that itambal na sa imo. Okay? And let's say sige na gitrangkaso ka, and then mao to nangita kag tawa-tawa, kalabo, and you do this, and then ang processing niya is ipabukalan, tapos after that ibutang sa lawas, imnon or unsa ba, and things like that, no? Okay, and after 3 days gibalik-balik to nimo siya. Okay? And then naayo ka. Okay? And then the next month, the next 3 months, nanapod in one members of your family got sick. So you do the same process again, no? Because you do the same process because you understand it na someone got healed, no, because of certain processes that we made before. So again, you do the same, and then anak na po, so tambal, and then kung ano po kang main ani, and it's a little bit tiring, tama, no? Every time one of the members of our family will get sick, it's a bit tiring because we are going to do it over and over again. Tama ba ko? Especially if wala ta ana ng mga ingredients, no, in our abode, like it's beyond our reach, no? If like say for an instance na where na ninyo makitaan dito, asa na ninyo makitaan. So example lang, di kay nato na rare lang na sila na makita nato sa ato ang unsay tawag nga backyard. So it's a bit tiring, and aside from it's a bit tiring, medyo but tiring yun kapoy, no? So now if that's something na makaayo, and kana siya, and then i-process siya, maano siya. Now that is why they come up with something like something like an object, no, that ilahat na siyang, when they collect or when they get those ingredients and then i-process nila, ibutang nila sa isa ka bottle, no, sa isa ka bottle or probably sa isa ka container na pwede mahimuong lana, pwede himuong liquid, that's something that we can drink whenever na magkasakita. And every now and then dili na ta mangita ato na mga ingredients. Okay? And that leads to something na pwede gihimo na siya karon og mga tablets, mga capsule. So that's why encapsulation is encapsulation, meaning kanang capsule comes from the word capsule, or encapsulation comes from the word capsule, means you are putting the attributes, the ingredients together with its associated behavior, no, unsa tong mga behavior ato na mga ingredients to work together to actually provide something like pwede ayuhon ato ang sickness, ato ang mga illness, or something like that. And that's really the purpose of mga tambal, no, medicines, drugs. So yeah, that's it. So that's how encapsulation is. Now in programming, when we talk about encapsulation is a class where you put all the members, the data members as well as its attributes and its functions or methods together, and then making it something like an API or a class, let's say a built-in class that is going to work or to do something or to do something for us, no, for a purpose. Let's say atong gi-discuss last time, let's say array list, vector. So we experienced that when we are going to create a program using an array, it would be difficult for us to, like, especially kung mag-add ta og record sa array. Yes, dali lang, because we only need loop and an index. Pero how about if you're going to look for a value in that particular array? Or shall we say you want to delete a value from that array. So, di ba, kailangan ni mo loop, i-compare ni mo, and you have to do those things. Medyo taas ang process. So, kung istoryahan ko na to ang data structures and algorithms now, so what happened is the time complexity is it's not constant anymore, no? So medyo dako ang time allotted na ma-perform to niya na operation. So with the advent of because of encapsulation, because of this concept, programmers created array list, vector, linked list, stack, because these are algorithms that is uh, or that must be created or that must be encapsulated as a class. And whenever we call this, they would perform such a thing. Like if using a vector or array list, if you're going to remove a certain value, you don't have to do loops. You just have to call the methods that remove. Do you follow? Nasabtan ko ninyo, guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so that's encapsulation. Okay, so actually we do some actually we already did encapsulation in data structures, like katong gihimo atong stack, nag-encapsulate ato, naghimo tag queue, nag-encapsulate ato, naghimo ta atong fuel tank, nag-encapsulate ato. Those are encapsulation, but I would rather call it as an abstraction. So encapsulation and abstraction are pretty much the same, only that abstraction is an implementation of encapsulation. So what is the difference between abstraction and encapsulation? So in Java, medyo lahi siya. However, by the virtue of its concepts, when you talk about, I don't know if you're seeing this, when you talk about encapsulation, so you're putting the things here. So what's inside of this are, of course, what's inside. Unsa gani ni? Mouse, tama? No?
Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Okay. So what's inside of this are the things that you're actually are the things that makes up a mouse to make this one work. Tama?
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So it is encapsulated so that, okay, it is encapsulated so that ang for security reasons, no, for security purposes, kasi if we are not going to encapsulate the mouse, we are able to touch the parts of the mouse. So if we're able to touch the parts of the mouse, pwedeng dali maguba ang ato ang parts, tama? Do you follow? Di ba? Tama ba? Okay? So pwedeng maguba og dali ang parts, okay? So that's why it is encapsulated. So and then our interface is to perform the clicking, no? Clicking, mao lang ang atong interface diri, ang scrolling, ang iyahang left and right unsay tawag nato ani, left and right unsa ba? Interface na maka-click ta to perform a task, no? By clicking. Okay? But what's inside of this is we don't care anymore. Okay? What we have to understand is how this one will work, how this technology will work. So that's the idea of encapsulation. And where is abstraction? There. The abstraction is, okay, abstraction means you are, okay, the things that the parts that are that should be hidden, okay, the parts must be hidden, okay, those parts that are inside of this, okay, and this is what we call abstraction. Okay, like for an instance, kung may tag abstract drawing, di ba, when we talk about abstract drawing or abstract painting, only the painter understands what really the painting is. Okay, we don't have to like understand it like we don't have to really understand unsa ang paint about, because only the painter is going to explain it better or well. So that's abstraction. So abstraction is just an implementation of encapsulation. I mean, encapsulation is just an implementation of abstraction. Another example is that sa ato ang car, kung naata sasakyanan, okay? Inyong makita lang ang dashboard, no? As normal user, kita driver, ang makita lang to ang dashboard, makita nato dito ang iyahang sa tawag na to ang speed, no, kung pila katong gi-discuss na ako sa inyo sa data structure. So it is fully abstracted, meaning the only way we can touch is katong interface that is available for us, para those parts that must be hidden is dili basta-basta nato ma-touch, because it must be protected. Okay? So i-encapsulate siya in a dashboard na dili nato, it's beyond our reach. Okay? So now the study of OOP is that since we are an IT people, we are ComSci, we are IT related parang IT related student we have to play both worlds. We don't just settle on a user, or parang user lang ta of a certain program. So example, like sa vector, sa array list, are you going to just settle know how to use array list and vector? Aren't you want something na makahimo kag your own array list and vector? Okay? Aren't you want to, like, kung gusto ka, like, syempre, no, gusto ta maging programmer. So, para mas ma-understand na to, unsa jud ang how really the program works, we have to dig deeper. So, mura lang na kung gusto ka magmekaniko. So, kung gusto ka magmekaniko, you don't have to, dili ka mag-settle sa makabalo lang ka ma-drive. So, dapat you can identify the parts, and it's not enough na maka-identify lang kag parts sa car. What is enough is you really have to remove all the parts and see what's inside of that car, so that you're able to, probably, if not becomes mechanic, probably you're going to create your own car. Okay? So in ana ang encapsulation and abstraction. Now, when we talk about inheritance is a process of creating relationships. So in Java, we can actually create relationships by not doing inheritance. So we have composition, we have aggregation, and all those relationships in Java. However, inheritance is something that is really a great concept. Why? Because we are able to extend a certain class. So meaning, we are able to extend a certain capability of a class. Mura lang guna siya og inheritance, no, like your inheritance. If your parents has banana plantation, if your parents has son of the beaches resorts, okay, joke lang. I'm just kidding. If your parents owns beaches. If your parents owns banana plantations, okay, if your parents owns malls, then most probably, because you are his or her child, you are going to inherit those things, right? So that's inheritance, no? Guwapo imong parents and dili ka guwapo or guwapa, so probably you're not their child. Okay? So that's the thing, no? So kung there must be something na ma-inherit nato from our parents based on sa ilahang physical characteristics, sa ilang physical attributes. And if we are going to relate that in a class, so inheritance means it's ability of a class to inherit the property of another class. Okay? So like for ingon taog cellphone. Unang-una ang cellphone dati mga keypad lang. Then here comes naabot ang mga smartphones. Okay? So, naabot ang smartphones, na-invento ang smartphones because of the characteristics they took from keypad phones, no? Katong mga keypad phones. Of course, they get the idea. They just got the idea from this technology, and they made something na in the new generation, which is that's what we call innovation. Okay, and and again, there are market players like Samsung, Oppo, uh, Apple, no, my phone, Cherry Mobile, and all these mga market players in terms of smartphones are also getting idea from the whichever phone, no, ang nauna sa smartphone, si kuan Nokia ba or si Samsung, whichever is nauna, basta they got the idea and then they also created their own, and that's what we called inheritance. Okay, so inheritance, no, ability of a class to inherit property of an existing an existing technology or an existing class. So the relationship there is a. Okay? So mayroon tag Samsung phone is a phone. Okay? Kung mayroon po taog Oppo phone is a phone. Okay? Katong keypad phone is a phone. Okay? Everything, whatever, unsa man na ato ang mga brands sa phones karon, these are all phones. So is a relationship. Okay? So that's inheritance. Now, when we talk about polymorphism, polymorphism comes from the two words. Poly means many. Many, and morphe means forms. Ability of a class to have many forms. So what is that? Like may tawag keypad phone. That's still a phone. And it has a different form compared to smartphone. Smartphone and keypad phone are all phones. They all have different forms, but we can call them as a phone. Okay? Like fan, electric fan, natay wall fan, natay wall fan, natay ceiling fan, natay stand fan, but they are all called as a fan. So we call them as polymorphic objects because the class now has the ability to behave in a different forms. So that's polymorphism. Okay? Do you follow? Do you understand me? So, mao to ang concept sa encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, and abstraction. Okay? And sa Java, na ay ang encapsulation is lahi sa abstraction kasi ang abstraction mas lahi ang implementation niya, pero you are also going to encapsulate. Okay? So, murag ana. So, encapsulation, making the properties, the attributes as private or protected in a way that the parts cannot be touched, no? Para for security reason, for security purposes. Then, pag may tag inheritance, ability of a class to create relationship, to extend its property. Then, polymorphism, the class now would have different forms. So, that's polymorphism. So, inheritance, encapsulation, polymorphism, and abstraction. Now, let's get back to our program. So how do we encapsulate a class? So let's say for an instance, we are going to encapsulate a tank, water tank. Okay, so let's say an object water tank is what we are going to model as the encapsulated class. Okay, so how do we describe a water tank? Unsay may mga properties sa water tank? Unsay may mga data members sa water tank? What do you think ang mga properties or data members of water tank? Everyone? Hello?
Capacity, sir.
Very good. Capacity. Murag fuel tank yapon, no? Okay? Capacity. Unsa pa? And then, i-private nato siya, by the way, no? I-private to iyang capacity, probably iyang width, iyang height, no? Pwede nato na i-appeal, okay? Iyahang current water, or pwede na po walay appeal ang current water, pero that's the pwede nato maano capacity, current water, usa pa. I guess that's it, no? And then we have actually a lot, no? Iyahang brand, pwede nato i-appeal, iyahang width, ang height. Okay? Ang iyahang color, pwede ang shape, kasi pag may utang water tank, normally cylinder siya, pero we could have water tank na square. We don't know, no? Basta na square, na siya rectangle. Okay? That's still a water tank. Okay? So, we can actually put these things out. Okay? So, but for now, we are only going to have this like capacity, current, water. But actually, we can include this one. Okay? So, it's not a problem. But, so yeah, let's include this. Like, we have the brand. We have, let's say, string na nato ang width and height and color and ang ihang shape. So, let's say private. Okay? So, at least, no, we can, that's what makes up a water tank. It has its brand, it has its width, its color, its shape, and all these properties. No, so these are what we called data members. Okay, so data members. So sa pag-encapsulate sa class, one of the most important thing that you will need to understand is you have to understand constructor. Okay? So kung sa ano pa ni sa data structure pa ni, we call this as creator, no? ADT, abstract data type. So constructor. So we have constructor. So constructor is used to initialize something. Okay? So unsa man ang something, sir? Mostly ato ang mga properties, atong object. If we are going to use this water tank thing, we can initialize this to other class. Okay? That's the only way we can call the methods of our class. Okay? Again, if you guys have questions, you can interrupt me. So now, there are types of constructors. So first is natay ginatawag na default. So na-discuss na nako ni sa data structure na to. Okay? So default constructor with no parameter. Okay? By the way, when we talk about constructor, it is as same name sa Java, same name with the class. Sa uban languages, dili siya inana. Pero most likely, they follow Java. So same name with the class. So meaning, if ato ang itong name sa class is water tank, then the only way para maka-create ta og constructor under default constructor na type is we are going to create this one. So this one is what we call default constructor. Okay? Maling spelling. All right. So that's default constructor. Ato na lang na ibutang dire. Okay. So muna mga types niya. Next, naapod tayo ginatawag na parameterized constructor. So, yan. Okay, we have here parameterize a constructor. So with parameter ni siya, no? Depending on how many parameters you're going to put in there. So bisan pila imong gusto, walay rules si Java ana. So any or depende sa inyong pila inyong ibutang na parameter. So let's say magbutang tag parameter dire like we're going to have here capacity. Okay? All right. So that's it. Now, if we talk about these constructors, these are used to initialize our object or our class. So let's say for an instance, we are going to initialize our capacity up to, let's say 100. Okay. And then our current water would be like 0. Okay. And let's say our brand all together with all other things, let's say you want your brand as default, no? Gusto nimo ang default brand nimo is best tank. Ba? Best tank. Okay? And then width niya is sa may width niya, let's say sa diameter, siguro ta mag-base. So, or diameter dapat. Anyway, sige lang, iyahang width is, kasi dili pwede na width, no? Dapat diameter. So, anyway, medyo technical na kaayo ato ang ano butangan ba natong diameter. Basta ang width lang na example is weight na lang siguro no kay height man iyang weight na lang. So yeah, sige width na lang kay para width, weight and height. Ang weight iyahang kabug-aton, ang width iyahang kalaparon. So pero kung cylinder siya dapat diameter, pero kung ang shape niya is square dapat ano. So lahi na po na siya nga istoryahonon. So di na nato i-appeal ang shape. Sige, i-appeal na lang nato siya. Anyway, so we have here width, let's say pila ba normal width sa unsa ni? Sa water tank? 2 meters, 3 meters, sige lang. Ibutan nato 2 meters. Okay. Or 2. Ayan. Or sige, ibutan nato kuan kay string man siya. And then ang height niya would be, let's say, height is 4 feet. Ayan. Okay, and then color niya is, let's say, pink. Okay, so sky pink. Charot, no? And then shape niya is, let's say, cylinder. Okay, so which is normal, no? Na shape sa ato ang sa water tank. Okay, so of course, what we can do sa ato ang water tank, we can do the same here. Only that, okay, only that ang atong buhaton would be like we'll need to do the capacity since ang capacity will be coming from the computer, the user, no? And then so yeah, that is the sa tawag na to ani. That is how you do parameterized constructor. So, sir, if you're going to ask me, sir, can we also create another parameterized constructor? Let's say, I want my water tank na naa siya'y best tank or naa siya'y brand. Yeah, you can also do that. Actually, in fact, pwede nimo na siya buhatan tanan, no? Like for an instance, anuhan pa na nimo siya string brand. So all you just need to do is this brand is equal to brand. Okay, so okay, and then if we go now to if we test this class, let's say test water tank, yan, and then this is where our main is. So the only way for us to access the water tank is to create an instance of it. So let's say when the tank is equal to new water tank. So right here, as you can see, daghan og version atong water tank. So naa siya int capacity, meaning the user can actually set the capacity. The use in the other water tank constructor, which is parameterized constructor, the user can also creates, set something like capacity and brand. Okay, so that's parameterized constructor. Okay, so sa Java, kinabuhatan na sa Java, kinabutangan na niya og kanang Java doc comment. Okay, so especially pag Java, no, nagka-Java doc comment ta, ayan, tag na to siya diri, let's say right here, and butang na to siya diri. So let's say this is default constructor. So this would assign capacity. Asa na tong default na to already ay? Sorry. So butang na to siya diri. Kasi kung naka Java doc comment mas okay siya kasi pag default constructor, this would assign capacity initially by 10. Okay, or by 100. Okay, 100, let's say 100 liter. Okay, something in that. Yan. So then pwede pud ka mag imo sa imuhang other parameterized constructor. So this would give idea to the users, no, whomever is going to use our class. So parameterized constructor, and then we're going to make this as like Java document. So by the way, Java document siya pag double ang ihang asterisk. So parameterized constructor, let's say sets the capacity on your own. So on your own. So something like in ana. Yan. So pwede ka butang dre og like at capacity at parameter, no, at param, then capacity, tapos at type int. Okay, so pwede na mo yan. Yan. Okay, and then pwede ni po buhaton diri pod sa imuhang another constructor. So this sets capacity and brand on your own. So pwede po ka magputang diri at param, sige, ano lang, at param capacity brand, sige, then lahi na lang po na to, at param brand, so at type string. Ayan. Okay, so now when we go back to our water tank here, what we can have will be the documentation, which is the default constructor. This would assign capacity initially by 100 liters. If you're going to choose another one, so you have here parameterized constructor sets the capacity on your own. So parameters capacity type int. So another one is we have here the water tank. So you have here parameters constructor sets the capacity and brand on your own. So parameters capacity and brand type in type string. So you can do that. All right. So question so far?
Sir, pwede ni mo ibalik sa main. Ayan.
Main man eh.
Okay, kanang nice. Okay, muna sir.
Ay, nag-follow ka. Good, good. So, nakuha ninyo tong Java document, pero ano lahat, hindi na siya labot, wala labot sa gidiscuss na ko na encapsulation, but it is important when you encapsulate. Remember this one ha, take this one from me. When you encapsulate a class, mas okay kung butangan nyo siya Java document para ang user na mogamit sa inyong class kay na idea on what you are trying to do or what you are actually doing. Kumbaga, what will this class do? So inana ang mahitabo. So at least without looking at the internet, nanate idea kung unsa ni siya mo work. Okay? And you cannot only do this sa imuhang constructor. Pwede po nimo na ibuhaton sa imuhang mga methods later on. Okay, anyway, so let's now proceed. Actually, we have another one which is copy constructor. So, ang copy constructor, So, it copies the object. Okay? So, i-copy lang niya ang object or instance, no? So, meaning to say, pag maghimo tag copy constructor na ata dire like private, let's say water tank, let's say tank. Ayan. So, oops, dako day ang T, no? So, water tank. Now, I'm going to create a constructor, which is copy constructor. So, I'm just going to copy this one. Okay, again, you have the option to like not do initialize values for your width, for height. I mean, you can actually take this one out if you don't want, no? Meaning to say, pwede na siya in ana imuhang gusto. Like, of course, mag-null lang ang value, no? Mag-null siya. So this time, let's say nag-copy constructor ta, and then instead of gibutang na so dire imo ibutang is water tank, let's say tank. So this time, imong buhaton is this that tank that capacity is equals to tank that capacity. Yan. Okay, and then you do the same for this the tank, this the tank dot current water, or so sorry. Yan. So let's say tank that current water. So, and then you can do that for brand, for width, for height, whatever you do. Basta copy, meaning, kung naka-create ang object na inani ang constructor, i-copy lang nato siya. Meaning, natahinay mo na water tank na inani ang iyahang behavior, plus inani iyahang property. So, i-copy lang nato siya. Murag ko ba, i-duplicate lang nato siya. So, that's the work of water tank, no? Maghimo tag another version of it completely the same with that water tank. So that is why you'll have to do this one. Isa-isahon nimo na siya. Like imuha na siyang isa-isahon og assign, no? So even for brand, no? Even for anything else. Pero di na nato buhaton, basta example lang na siya. Again, do here for other property or other properties or member. Ayan. So now I have already shown you different ways to do constructors. So natay default, natay parameterize. So kamo na bahala unsa inyong gusto ana, pila ka buok inyong constructors ibutang, pila ka buok inyong kung basta make sure lang na dili pare-pareha. Okay? Meaning to say, pag niyon kog nana koy int capacity string brand, dili pwede na kay int nya lahi ang pangalan niya capacity, lahi pod ang example pakitaon ta mo. Dili siya pwede na niyon kog int, let's say cap, and then ayun kog string br. So dili na siya pwede, dili na allowed kasi ang basihan ni Java dira is the value which is the data type which is int pareha and then string pareha. So make sure na unique jud na siya. Like butangan nimo string like color. So dapat inanaon nimo siya para malahi siya. Okay? So ana ta ko magbuhat tag constructor. The same thing with sa methods. Anyway, so that's the constructor. So importante ang constructor because we use constructor to initialize our class. All right. Now, let's proceed to its behavior. Ang behavior sa encapsulation, ginatawag nato na siya og setters and getters. Okay? So when we talk about setters, these are your mutators. Okay? When we talk about setters, this is what we call the accessors. Okay? Or kung sa wala na yan, word na accessors. Anyway, kung sa data structure pa ni mura siya og observer and transformer. Okay? But I would not want to confuse you, dili na ko na i-bring out na term dire, pero the same na siya actually. Actually, the same, halos the same na no? Abstract data type. Naghimo tag ADT, abstract data type. Encapsulation is, and encapsulation and ADT are almost similar. Okay? So this time, when we talk about setters, okay, so setters are used to change the state of the object, okay, or the object. Pag mayroon tag getter, so getters are used to sa may nice term aniha, used to display something, no, or display or show off the change of the state of the object. Ayan. So ana. So again, kung giunsa na to pa-explain ang data structure na transformer and observer, si setter is mauna siya si transformer, si getter mauna siya si observer. Now, sa Java, mas dali mahibal-an nato ng setter siya because kung mag-encapsulate ta niya, naka-setter siya, the only way to do that is nagilan lang tao public void set
over to your challenges and do whatever challenges you want to do, and you'll earn buff coins to redeem anything in the market. You can get whatever you are looking to get. Buff also does not.
sana all multitasking. Are you guys still with me?
Nag-search ko sa setters and getters, sir, sa YouTube. Yan ay ads.
Okay. Anyway, so public void set capacity, okay? And then when we talk about set capacity, you're going to set the capacity for this one. Let's say in capacity. Ayan. So whether imo siya ibutang cap, okay? Pero mas better kung capacity, but depende sa imuhang trip ha. Kasi kung like what I did before, may tag kasi capacity man itong giuna, no? So set capacity in capacity, then capacity equals to capacity will confuse our compilers kung unsa ang imong pasabot ana. Pero syempre as the parang iyahang ideally ang buhaton niya would be i-follow to niyang local na declaration which is capacity, dili tong imuhang capacity from here. So here you should need that capacity. Okay, actually naka-color coding na siya. Pero if you don't want like that na inana, pwede nimo na siya na butang ni siya dre as like cap. Okay, and then butang naman dre as cap. However, of course, if I'm going to be the user and I will call the set capacity, what I am going to have as my interface will be tank that let's say set capacity. I would have here in cap. So unsa nang cap for unsa nang cap, no? I mean, kung ako ang user, what is this? What is this all about? So I'll need to have an explanation. So probably butang kag documentation. So mas okay kung ang imuhang gihatag, I would recommend you kung ang imuhang ang dapat katong imuhang sana is something like to what it represents para it would be easier for your users to understand it, no? Parang there's parang dali lang ma-understand niya. Okay? So yeah, this that capacity. So you can actually do this here. So set capacity unsa pa to natay set current water, pero sa set current water di nato na buhaton kasi special ni siya na property. So special ni kasi ma-change na ang state niya pag na mag-add tag water or mag-remove tag water. So what we can only do for our para sa ato ang mga setters kaning brand, width, height, color or shape. So probably ang user ato ang mag ano ana. So we are going to create our own, no, void let's say si tawag ani set brand, no, brand. Ayan, so string brand. Ayan, so after that butang ka this that brand equals brand. So after that kanito, so tank that set brand. So you're going to give a brand of that tank. Okay, so ana siya. So that's it, no, for setters. Now same with getters. Ang getters nag-return siyang value. So let's say public void a string. So let's say ang capacity gusto nimo mag-return siya get capacity. So again, a class, by the way, this is just conventions. Pag may tag set, get, kay na siya set, get, you don't have to really follow na set capacity, get capacity. Depende na sa inyong naming convention. No? If you guys would like, di ka gusto og na-set, na-get, it depends sa imuha. Pero sa Java kasi is mas ano sa iya kung set and get imong pangalan. So public string, get brand. Okay, so actually Java already recognizes our setters and getters. Did you know that the moment you found me without the moment you actually type set and control space, Okay, you would have here, as you can see, nana jud siya daro, set color, set current water, set height, set shape, set tank, set width. Nana na siya available for us. So you don't have to really type it on your own. So ako alang gipakita kanina is this is how you actually do the creation of this is how you actually create set and get. So normally ang lang bantayan na normally no ideally ang set kay naka void and then ang get kay na returning value returning siya depending on unsa iyang gina-return. Okay? But again, as I've told you, pag type na lang nimo nag-set, control space ka, automatic may bala na ni Java. Okay? Naana siya in IntelliSense or AI si not all Java ha, pero sa Eclipse o sa NetBeans maka-recognize na siya na okay, programmers might be probably parang going to create setters, no? Set color, set current water, set height, set shape, set tank. It's all up to you kung imuha na siyang i-appeal dira. Let's say set
Matic
color.
na.
O,
Matic.
automatic na. O, yan, get. And get. O, get color. Okay? Pero, ang pinaka the best ani is diri ka sa source. Okay? Tara o. Generate getters and setters. So, bisan wala di ka gusto maghimong setters and getters, you want the Java to create that for you, pwede nimo na siya pilion dito and then click lang ka click and click. Pwede select all, okay, dara. Pero since ang current water dili na ako na siya yan, dili like select all na ako pero dili na ako i-appeal ang current water kasi I will create another, no. Siguro pwede na ako ang current water for get current water. Okay, get current water pero for set water, set current water dili ko magbuhat og set current water. I mean, sige lang, masabdan ninyo na. So, makapili pod mo kung private ba, protected ba, final or synchronized. But for now, let's stick to public. So, kung napansin niyo wala nay color dira, walay brand kasi nakahimo naman ta. Pero kung inyo na siyang tanggalon, okay, tanggalon na po ninyo ng setters and getters, balik mo dito sa source, then generate getters and setters, things would be easier for you. So, after that, just click on generate and there.
Ay, sir.
Yes.
Pwede na dili na ka magbuhat. Ano na lang nimo to ko lang nimo source diretso na.
Yes, pwede na. Oo. There. So actually, what I did now is naghimo na kong sarili na kong Java. I allowed the Eclipse to do it for me. And setters and getters. If you like the convention of your Eclipse. Normally, mapansin niyo kung unsa imuhang pangalan sa data members brand with putangan lang na siya set and get. Ana lang, nawa. So get capacity, get current water, set get brand, and all of this are already given. So yan, as easy as that. No? So imagine, di ba? So kaning water tank din ako ni-appeal. Sige, pwede ra i-appeal na po na ako na. So it depends sa imo kung gusto nimo i-appeal. But for now, I'm not gonna be including this one. So I'll just have to arrange this one kasi mga normal setters or properties lang isa ko ang program. Okay? So while I'm actually reconstructing my codes, do you have any questions? So most likely partners is setters and getters. So sige. Question so far? Wala. Are you sure?
Wala.
Sige. How about ang uban? Sige, kung wala, padayon ta. Sige, pero humanon sa ako ni ako lang sa i-arrange para di kay taas ako ang codes, no? And this is something na wala, dili mabuhat ni Java, wala sa Eclipse di ay. Parang convenience, no? Kasi This is wala pa siya AI ani. Okay, anyway, I have there the set current water. I'm gonna remove this kasi dili na ko na i-appeal. Kasi ang set current water is ma-change ang current water, of course, makakuha ko get current water, no? Like dire. So, tank that, okay, I have here the set. So, nagha ko mga set. And then, pwede ko makaget. However, sa set, among all the setters, si set current water ang dili na ko siya as makaset ko to water because I would change this into something like katong behavior na jud. So mao na ning behavior ni major behavior gyapon sila kay methods pero diri ta sa major behavior na nanay logical. Okay? So kumbaga business logic na siya, no? Business logic. So nana siya business na buhaton, no? Or logical.
Mga if else, sir.
Nanay mga if else, nanay mga for loop. Okay, for an instance. So maghimo ko diri og public void, let's say add water. Add water. So mag-add kog tubig and then so instead of set current water, di ba mas okay paminawon ang add water rather than set current water? Am I right? Tama ba? No? So,
Yes, sir.
mas straightforward, mas masabtan si add water. So, pwede ka butang diri og let's say int man tanaw. So, kung int ay ta, so int yun ta. So, let's say int unsa man by amount or unsay mas proper? Liter
By
or amount
liter.
per liter. So what if dili liter iyang ibutang? So dili pod, no? So ano na lang. Pwede man siguro amount, no? Murag amount of water, tama, no? Di ba?
Sige, pwede
Ana
na.
na lang. So now, current water plus equals to amount. Ayan. Okay? So if gusto ka mag-if conditions dili, pwede na if like katong ginabuhat nato na if current water so pamantay is full or is empty, no? If current water is greater than like capacity, ayan, greater than capacity. So probably mag-display ka drag is full or puno na, empty ba? But for now, pwede na. So mo nang ginatawag na tog business logic kasi na siya yung mga if else condition. So for removing water pod, butang ta diri og remove water. So i-minus lang po nato siya sa pila ang current water which is nanatay getter for current water, get current water. So pwede na to di dungagan, no? Katong mga typical na public is or boolean is empty. Ayan. So return ano nga to pakibalo kung empty siya, return capacity
Capacity.
current water equals to
0.
0. Ayan. Okay. So, murag hapon sa mga stack and queue, no? Dito na ang basis niya. Actually, mas unang dapat ang OOP o ang data structure dili magdungan. Dapat ano mo yung idea sa OOP bago nag-data structure. Okay. Sige. Anyway, public boolean is full. Ayan. And then, return ang sa man eh. Current water greater than equal to capacity, no? Tama?
Yes, sir.
Matrue na siya pag greater na siya or equal or pwede equal, no? It depende sa imo kung equal to capacity. But just in case lang malapas, at least kung malapas na siya sa capacity, mapuno siya, is full. So pwede nimo ni siya dungagan diri like is full, is empty, or so mo na ni ang si tawag na to ani. If gusto ba nimo siya na so mao na ni ay sa pagstorya ni. This is now your best option kung asa ka na side sa programming. Kumbaga I guess na discuss na ko ni sa inyo ha kung katuba kang programmer na generous, no, enough na tanan imuhang methods na ana siya mga if conditions, and then ang buhaton na lang sa user karon kay tawag-tawagon na lang ang functions, or you leave something for the user kung siya na bahala kung na siya condition sa here kung puno na ba or empty na ba or something inana. Do you follow? Na gets ko ninyo?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Kato kay magbutang kag asa man ka, like butangan nimo if condition tanan dire, and then kung magtawag nako sa akong method dire as a user sa program, wala na ko'y buhaton kundi sige na lang kong kato na lang, no, everything is provided. Pero ang ano lang ana, ang problem lang is that you are actually teaching the parang wala may problem with that, no, kasi you're just being generous. However, ang user ba or let's say ang programmer na gusto maka-learn is instead na naa siya ma-learn, wala na noon kasi all the logical mga business logic are already done. Parang prepared, ready na. Mura ko sa vector o sa array list, di ba? Kita pa mag if contains ba siya, di ba? Wala siya something dito na makitaan ba niya. So, kita pa mag-condition na if it contains this particular na value, so kita pa mag-if condition dire. So in ana ang tinuod na encapsulation. Pero again, it depends on your preference. Depende gyapon na sa programmer's discretion. Depende na sa inyo ang gusto i-offer sa user. So now, we can actually go with like mag-create na tag UI or magtawag-tawag na tag mga unsa diri, ayan, no, like add water, or we want to know if it's empty, if it is full, but we don't dili nato na ano dito na ta diretso sa maghimog interface. Okay, so imo tag interface, and then let's have here string menu. Okay, so let's say we have add water. Okay, remove water, change like mayroon kag change capacity, yan, or set ba capacity, and then end, yan. Or tungagan ba nimo siya og maka-change siya og brand, maka-change og color, depende sa gusto sa user, depende sa iyang preference kung pila sa gusto siyang color, pwede nimo na dungagan, no. Pero for now, kanilang sa na basic na mga properties ato ang buhaton for our water tank. Okay? So this time we'll have here a choice. So string choice equals to empty lang. Okay. Okay, so now we are going to have here i-ano lang na akong G-option pane ha, maghimo kog object kay though dili ni recommended, pero I'm going to create an object of G-option pane para dili kayo taas ang code na to or program. So G-option pane that show input kanilang sa ato kay para dali lang. Anyway, maabot man tag frames. So right here null, and then ito sunod, and anyway, sige. Select, tapos menu, and then this is for your icon, I guess, and then this is for your icon, and then this is the menu, and then if unsa na let's say this one is 0, so menu 0 add water ang ma-display. Then kung 1 remove water, 1 imong ibutang dira. Kung kaning change capacity ka 2, then or kung 4 end ka 3 imong ibutang dire. So 0 lang ta kana, meaning initially mag-display ang add water. And then typecast na to siya into string. Okay? Right? So while choice that equals was end, and then inigate na to siya. Okay, so that's it. Now if we're going to run this one, So there you are, anatay options, add water, remove water, capacity, current water, blah, blah, blah. So, ayan, wala lang tayo transaction pa. So, of course, i-display na to ang mga mag-display ta og stay hold. Okay? And then, hold is equal to direto ibutang ang empty. Okay, so wala tay object sa tank, ana na di ay. So they have here tank that is empty. Okay. Then dungaga na to is full. We have full. So tank that is full. So imagine yourself, kumbaga, someone has created this water tank thing as a class na encapsulate na, and imong buhato na lang karon is tawag-tawag na lang ka sa mga methods na magamit nimo for this one. Okay, sige. Then, sa pa, okay, mga object rin. Pwede na ito butang current water, sige. Current water, social, no? Para social. O, guan. So, get current water. And then, sa pa, capacity. Butang na tong capacity. So, current water plus, and then, \n capacity. So, tank that get capacity. Okay. So, after that, butang na to siya diri sa select plus hold. Okay. Or tama ba akong nabutangan? Okay. So, kaya lang, dili siya what we call this one. Dili siya arrange, no? Dili magana ang \t. So, kailangan nato og text area. So, i-surround nato siya with text area. So, actually, pwede nato ni tanggalon si select. Surround nato siya with text area. Sorry, new j text area. Kasi dili mo gana ang \t sa normal na unsa ni.
Sir, pwede zoom out gamay. Gamay lang. Zoom out.
Ay, ana?
Gamay lang. Ana. Gamay sa.
Okay po. Sige, and then / sige, butan na natong select diri dai sa baba. Okay, if you guys want to include katong brand niya, ang color, pwede niyo ibutang, no? I mean, it's all up to you kung butangan pa nimo siya o iyahang mga like whether you want na dungagan og
Colors.
color, like kung gusto nimo like kung gusto lang nimo. Touch and color. So like kamo na mag-ano na. So tank that tank that get color. Anyway, na naman dito, no? So, same with brand, no? Ibutangan mo brand. So, again, yeah, it mas better na naani siya, of course, no? So, but for the purpose lang of, at least gingnan ta mo, basta that's how you can actually, wala lagi tayo get brand. Wala tayo brand. Ano ra? So again, it's your prerogative. Kamo bahala na kung butangan ninyo. But again, I mean, personally, mas okay siya na naa. Okay? So that whenever we run this one, kung unsay change sa state sa tong object, makita ninyo dire, no? Current water, capacity, iyang color, iyang brand, no? Yan, sky pink. Yan, nakita nato no, iyang color o ang iyang. Yes po.
Nakabutang nila ang like 100 yung capacity laser. Asan na nakuha mo, sir?
Dire po sa to kasi ang water tank gigamit na ko ang default constructor nato. Very good, no? Very good eyes. Very good observation. I like that. So, thank you for asking that. So, by the way, gigamit nato ang default constructor. So, upon seeing atong default constructor na asya, ayan. Did you know that you can apply this to different programming languages na mahibalaan pa nyo in the future? Especially sa mga pang-web, no? Mas magamit ninyo ni siya ng mga idea. Like pag encapsulate kasi that's even maghimo na kag API inani maghimo ka og maghimo kag ADT or pag encapsulate ka sa imong mga classes para di na kasig balik-balik og program balik-balik ko nimo ang ano i-encapsulate na nimo siya. Now, asa na ta nabutang na ko nig /n i/t na lang dayon ako ni para murag pantay siya. Yeah. So if you are really OZ or parang perfectionist na gusto ka unsay ma-plaster imo ano, yeah, you can do that. So that's for me for now, no? So empty true, full false, current water zero, capacity 100, and then color na ko brand and best tank. Now if ever na nag-set kog capacity like kaning second constructor ako ang gi like kaning gigamit, all I need to do is butang na nako let's say 1,000. Ayan. So pag ano-ano na ko ana, pag run na ko ana, I would have here the information that I have there in my katuna constructor. Now let's look for a constructor na wala nag-set og mga like paraan ni na ay brand na asya capacity pero walay width and height and all that. Di man din nyo ma-appreciate po no kay wala mo tay gibutang dito na shape and width and height. Anyway, just in case inana, so of course mag-null na siya. Example lang ha, dili ta mag-set og let's say sa brand best tank na siya and then wala ta nagbutang og brand. So atong igamit kato na constructor, this would give us a null value rather than a value. So yan dara brand null.
Okay,
So,
wala man dito sa imong constructor, sir.
yes, very good. Kay wala man ka nag-set dito og initial, no? Initial. So anyway, initial lang man na siya, no? In the future, pwede na nimo i-listan. So it depends now on the user. So let's have this na ikumpleto na nato ni before ta mag-end sa tong discussion. So we have here choice. Okay, and then copy na lang nato ni siya. So add water. Yan. Case, remove water. And then case, change capacity. And then sa capacity, maka-change lang ang capacity kung wala pa siya tubig or dapat ang tubig empty or ang water tank empty ato ang ninanaon unya. Like no para bright ato ang program. So we have here break na mo. Okay. Now, what we lack is the entry. So int amount. Okay, so integer na lang ta diretso para i-parse na lang nato. Pwede nato string pero mas okay na integer kasi balagan pa katag i-parse. So amount equals to integer dot parse int j dot show input dialog enter amount of water. Okay, and then after that you call the tank dot add water amount. So pwede ka magbutang og option pane that show message dialog na mag-iyon ka na amount, let's say by liter to siya. Liter is added to your tank or ang pinaka kung ang grammar yata is filled, no? Parang na filled with inana na amount. Anyway, sa kanila lang added to your tank. So the same things na buhaton nimo sa water tank. Okay, only that enter amount of water dili to add. Okay, dili to remove. Of course, no, ang atong gibuhat diri is just data entry from user. Mura siya og kanang nadungagan ang tubig, let's say nadungagan ba siya by rain, nadungagan ba siya ikaw ba yung nagdungag, and then nakuhaan siya through nagpaagas ka or nakuhaan, depende, no, or nag-evaporate.
Sir.
Yes po.
Kanang for example sir, wala asa ka magbutang og ganing message sir nga full na imong capacity.
Yun, okay, that's the next thing we will do, no? Pauto kong ikaw na depende sa imo kung asa nimo na siya ibutang. Either diri sa ato ang program or diri mismo. So we have two options here. Anyway, mao na tong buhaton ron. So this time, sige lang. Don't worry, ato na siyang ano. Okay, sige, ato ang ipakita sa ha. So is removed. Oh, ayan. So kanila kaninga state lang sa atong buhaton sa object or sa ato ang water tank. So dapat whenever mag-add tag itiman niya true false na siya dira, and then ang current water timan ay so mag-add tag water, let's say 500. So 500 liter is added to your tank. So na kay 500 liter, kulang din ni dapat utang atog L og L diri, no. But anyway, so karon kana lang sa, and then what if moabot na siya og syempre maabot nag capacity, so true na ato ang full. So meaning to say dapat inataka-add og water, no? Like mag-add tag water, I mean the next time na mag-ano ka is dili na maka-add. So that is your question actually, Go. Is that you? Gokong?
Yes sir.
Okay. So that's now your kumbaga mao na imuhang next anuhon. Wait ato sa ning butangan og para realistic. Tangatog L capacity tangan po na to L. Yan. So you have the choice now, either didto ninyo ibutang ang iyahang condition or dire. Asa ipinaka nice na ibutang ang condition? Mas okay dire, no? Or depende, pwede ra
Sir,
po
dito
dire.
sa pika, sir. Mas
Dire?
hindi na.
Dire or dito?
Sa
Dito
pikas
pika,
sir.
sir.
Sa pikas.
Kana, sir.
Dire.
Dia.
Yes, sir.
Or dire. Di ka ganahan dire kay daghan nag codes, no? Sa bagay.
Unahan, sir.
Okay. Anyway, if you're like working as a team and then namoy gibuhat na project na para sa inyuha lang ni siya, like kamo lang mo gamit ani, pwede na ang inyuhang if condition diri. Mao na siya. Pero kung this is based on my experience ha, pero kung if you're creating this class or kaninga encapsulation na magamit siya sa bisan kinsa na mga tao, kay mas okay diri ka inani lang jud as is imuhang program. Basta provide lang jud kag mga inani. Kay nga no, nagaanta mo scenario ha. Example, naghimo ko program. Wala ko'y idea unsa imong water tank. Now, syempre wala ko'y idea. This is the very first time na nigamit ko sa imuhang class. And then of course ako pag naakoy codes dire nagibutang nako na like something nakagibuhat dire, mukalit tag pop up, pop out, mukalit lang og naay ginabuhat ang program kay because na ako'y without me knowing na oy hala, okay. So napa ko'y mag second mag second thought pa ko unsa day nahitabo nganong nato ang display. So at least ang user na mogamit sa imong program, if external siya sa inyong team, at least na siya ability to think na what if kaya na mulapas ang nako akong water sa capacity or akong current water sa capacity. Okay, tama, magbutang day ko diri og if tank that is full, o di ba? So na siya sarili niyang logic within sa iya because he is making this program on his own. Okay? Kay imagine yourself pag nahimo na ninyo na API, nahimo na ninyo ni na class, kung this is for everyone, so of course wala na kayo moy reach sa ilaha, meaning dili na kayo mo makikommunicate sa ilaha. But if this is intended for like a group lang, a certain group like team, pwede ra dito ang inyong Do you follow? Nakuha niyo ang point?
Okay sir. Diyan na lang ibutang sa test water tank sir. Diyan na lang
Okay.
ibutang.
But tagaan ta mo idea later. Of course, dali lang po na dira, no? So pwede gihapon inana, no? If tank that is full. Kato ang advantage lang ato is syempre naadri tanan nimong codes, tawag-tawagon na lang. Okay, tagaan ta mong idea ana later on. Sige, tank that is full. So that show at least siya as a user na ako'y choice na akong ibutang dire is anything that I am comfortable with, no? Kung unsa akong ibutang like, oy, puno na good. O di ba na sarili niyang language, di ba? Kaysa sa ikaw nagbutang direct if condition na medyo formal kayo, it's full, it's empty. Ana ba? Murag na tank is full, tank is empty. What about ang user di siya gusto sa imong message? So mas okay kung tagaan nimo siyang idea na makahimo siya sarili niyang message, sarili niyang logic, sarili niya kasi 'di ba lahi man tag trip as a programmers. So mas might as well you give that, no, you give that autonomy to the user, no, to your user. So that is what we can actually give to them, no, para there can be open for improvement or something like sa ilahang base sa ilahang preference. So with that being said, okay, mas okay o yan para no, oy puno na good imong tank kaysa sa imo ning gibutang dito, oy puno na good imong tank. What if dili siya gusto inana na message? Which is since mao naman na message ang gibutang nimo, wala na siya choice. Okay? Yan, do you follow? Nakuha?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So ayan. Butang na to ha. Let's say add water 500, add water 500. Ayan. So the next time around dapat oy puno na god imong tank. Yan, di na ka-add. Yan. No? So again, the other way around is dito ka maghimo og if, no, dili ka maghimo. So again, depende jud na sa inyo, no? So I'm just giving you different techniques, no? Kumbaga wisdom nako based on sa akong mga experiences sa mga if I'm dealing with projects. Basta for teams lang na kamo lang, like group teams lang, inyuha lang ni dire mo maghimo og mga if conditions, mga logic. Pero kung gusto ka na this is for everyone, mas okay na you leave it as it is. Inana lang, tama naman niya, naka-encapsulate na niya. Okay, so let's say, karon this time, the good thing about this one is you don't need to have an object, no? Automatic, diretso ka mag-if is full, tapos imong ibutang, sys error lang. Okay, or system.out.error, or the option pane. Depende sa inyo kung sa inyong ibutang. So let's say, tank is full. Or, butang ba kag the option pane, depende sa imuha, no? Again, it's all up to you. Ayan. So this is what I am elaborating na you cannot please everyone nga kung unsa imong gibutang diri mao ilahang ganahan. So mas okay nga naa sila'y option to do their own thing, which is mao ni. Pero again, I'm just showing you here na for especially sa uban nga pa jud kasabot ngano jud. So you can have something like tank is full. So medyo diplomatic imuhang ano diri, like may kag oops, snap, tank is full. Ayan. Yan o, something in anak. Oh, ouch, ouch. Oh, may anak, God. Else. Current water. Ayan. So, ayan, you have the option and you can do the same with remove water. So, pwede nimo na buhaton with remove water by, okay, of course, creating unsa man imong ano dira. So, also dili necessarily na by the way, pwede ka unsa ni? Pwede nimo na siya i-string, no? So, return, let's say, return tank is full, else return sa bato atong ibutang dire.
Tank is add, sir.
Ayan, kanino? Okay, kani atong ibutang. So, butang na to siya. Tank is, sorry. amount blah 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 is added to your tank. So, kaya lang, kailangan ito i-rename kasi naana siya kapareha dito, no? So, fill water na lang ni siya. Let's say fill water. Okay? So, pwede na siya string. Pero, however, I mean, it's up to you kung asa imong gamiton, fill water ba or add water. Kung fill water siya, dili na kailangan og G-option pane. Ay, tama ba? Ay, kailangan daghapon kay ano na ito, no? So, kung fill water siya, inani ang imuhang buhaton. Let's say, ito, sorry. Fill water, return tag is full. So, meaning, okay. So, diri na ako magbutang ani. Show message. Kumbaga, dili na nako ni tawagon. Okay. Instead, akong buhaton diri is tank or amount. Tank that fill water. So, ana siya diretso. Okay? So, nawala na tong add water amount and show. Ayan. Okay? Kasi value returning man siya string. So, ang iyahang value, ang iyahang i-return is either tank is full or amount of liter is added to your tank. So, I guess na-follow man ninyo na. So, the only difference there is ikaw nag-show sa ang user, ang nag-display sa added, blah, blah, blah. Then, diretso, kung unsa tong naa dire sa imuhang is added to your tank, mao to ang ano. So, that's what I meant earlier na ideally void ang setter pero pwede nimo na siya dili i-void. Okay? So, let's say add water 400 and then 400 liter is added to your tank. So, something like that. Okay? In fact, pwede ka na kani siya if another technique po, no, well, if di ka gusto daghan jud codes diri imong ano, pwede ni siya dito nimo buhaton. Like dire. Gusto ka na public string display or status or sa ba. Basta ikaw bahala, no? Unsa imong gusto buhaton display. Yan, example lang. Kopyahon na lang nato to siya right here. And then, butang nato siya here. So, return empty, blah, blah, blah. Okay? Tapos, pwede tank that is empty, pwede ra pod na, diretso na is empty. Again, na naman ni siya diri nga method. Okay? So, you don't have to have an object. So, again, either, anong yapon nimong tank, pero mas okay na, wala na. Okay? Kasi, within the, ma-access man yan ni kay within the man siya method within the class man gyapon siya. So ayan, and then tanggalon na nimo ning select kay syempre yan. And then so instead of magbutang pa kag hold blah 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 dire, so what you're going to do now is okay, so para di na kayo daghang codes, assuming wala na siya, comment lang nato. And then what you will do now is right here, tawag lang kadig tank dot display. So tank dot display. Ayan. So after that, you run your program and then saan naman to? Charan. Okay. So there, no? Na-display gyapon na to siya. Okay? Sige. So question.
Ano, sir?
Wala na? Okay, very
Wala
good.
na.
Sige. So, kani ang ako ang task for this week sa inyo ha. Okay, this is your task. So, nakoy task sa inyo ha, no? Okay. So, first task. Okay. First task when adding water, don't allow to accept negative value. Why? Kasi kung mag-negative ka, instead na madungagan, unsay mahitabo?
Minus.
Very good. Okay, ma-minus isugo ay di mo ta mga suko good. Suko lagi ka.
Sorry, sir.
Oh, okay. So obviously, when adding water, when removing water, don't allow to accept negative gihapon. Okay? So meaning dili pwede negative both ang iisa na ko ni katas kay parehara man gihapon na siya. Same basta do the same for do the same for removing of water. Okay? Now, number 2,
Sir.
yes.
Mura may magkuhan problem tracing.
Maghimo inyo ning ihatag nako ning code sa inyo karon. And then i-upgrade ninyo mao na inyong task for this week. I-upgrade ninyo ni siya na kanina mga task ma-resolve ninyo ni siya. Okay? Nakuha? Nakuha, class?
Sige.
Okay. You can't change kaya naman tayo change the capacity dire, di ba? You can't change the capacity when the water is not empty. Water. When the tank is not empty. Nakuha?
Okay, sir.
Okay, sige. So, 3, make a clear to clean your your tank. Sa man ang clean your tank, kumbaga i-empty niya. So it will empty the tank. So meaning bisan pag naisulod imong water tank, i-empty niya imong water tank. Okay? And then
Sir, excuse sir.
yes po.
Inig-clear nimo sir, ma-empty na siya sir.
Yes, ma-empty na, wala na siya sulod.
Magbuhat mig kuan sir, menu sir, na clear sir.
Yes, opo. Very good.
Sir.
Okay. Tama na siya. Okay? So, create a menu for changing the properties or property of your tank. So, unsa man tong property sa imong tank, changing property of your water tank. So, butang nato diri set set property. Set property. So, unsa man na mga property kaniyo? Kaning brand with ma-change nimo ang brand, ihang width, ang height, color, and shape. Okay? Do you follow? So,
Yes, sir.
Okay. And then last but not the least is kani, ang pinaka medyo challenging. I don't know if challenging man sa inyo ha, pero basin dili kasi na naman mo idea sa atong data structure, no? Nang bright naman mo sa atong data structure, charot. So, inyong buhaton kani. Taga mong scenario ha, what will happen to this one. Okay, pila gani to ato ang capacity 1,000 liter, tama?
Yes sir.
Okay, good. Tapos mag-ano ko add water tapos butang ko 600. Okay? So 600 liter madungag sa atong water tank. Okay? Now pilay kulang para mapuno?
400.
400. What if ang user magbutag 500? Unsay mahitabo sa program? Unsay mahitabo dapat sa tangke?
Madungagan og kuan 400.
Madungag 400 tapos unsay mahitabo sa
Magatawag
100?
message sir nga kuan.
Tag
Full na.
Full na.
Ang tank.
Pero aside from that, unsay mahitabo sa 100?
Dili niya accept sir.
So medyo na ay ano ro no? Unsay ang scenario would be in ani. So nag-add ko 600, ako ang tank is 1,000 liters. So meaning nag-add ko 600 meaning na ko for remaining 400. So now if nag-add ko 600 then next is 500, dapat dili dawaton sa ang imuhang unsa ni? Imuhang
500.
500. Why? Dili sa dawaton. Imuha sa siyang i-inform na Do you want to proceed the filling out or filling in of water because the 100 will be or something like anything, no? So 100 is going to be like wasted, no? Kumbaga ang 100 as unsaon man ako ng 100. So tagani mo option ang user kung mo proceed ba siya or mo proceed ba siya pag add og water or dili. Kung mayon siya yes, ipadayon nimo then butang nimo na wasted ang 100 or wastage. Basta na waste ang 100 liter. So kung no, dili siya mopadayon. Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Oh, inana ha. So dapat pag ana nako okay, so dapat na yun siya, do you want say tawag ani your tank is about to be full. Okay? But with the excess of 100 liters. So ana, do you wish to proceed yes or no? So anaon na lang nato. Okay? So with that, instead na 1,000 dapat lang ang current water nato, nahimo nato siyang 1,100. Ayan. So atong buhaton is so asa to kung giingon, create an option for the user to ask get the user to ask whether to proceed with adding of water when the tank is about to be full based on the amount of water to be added. I don't know kung nakuha niyo ba sa inato. Pag dili ninyo siya ipapadayon, mangutana sa kung this is only happening ha kung padulong na mapuno ha, again, dili pag first lang palang input niya dili sa, pero kung feeling nimo na basta ang isunod na i-add niya na tubig is mulapas na sa tangke, mulapas na sa capacity sa tank, mao na time na mangutana ka. Nakuha?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Huwag na siya limit, sir.
Yes. Do the same for kasi ano ba? Kasi ano nimo na kumbaga na ay intelligence imong program na possibility of mapuno. So, possibility of mapuno siya pero na ay masayang na tubig and we don't want that to happen. Do you get me?
Ano to, sir? Ano to, sir?
Kumbaga, ang scenario is na ako ay 1,000. Capacity na ako 1,000 liter. First entry na ako, okay, first input na ako for or amount, input sa amount is let's say 600 liter. Okay? Pero kung next input na ako na amount is let's say 300, okay, padayon lang ang program. Nakuha? Tama? Padayon lang. Kaya nga naman, 900
Yes, sir.
pa man. Okay. Pero kung next input na ko, nag-enter ko og let's say another 400 of liter. So, pila na lang kay kulang sa kuang sa kuang sa tank
100
nako?
na, sir.
100 na lang, di ba? So, meaning kay 100 na lang ang kulang sa ako ang tank, then 400 imong gidungag, pilay masayang?
300.
100 liter. So we don't want that to happen sa atong program. Dapat na bright atong program to identify or determine even before pa i-add na or ahead of time dapat na mapuno na siya with that amount of water. That's why dili nimo siya ipa-proceed. Okay? Pangutana sa kung gusto ba niya ipadayon or dili. Kasi kung ipadayon niya, masayang ang 300 liter of water. Otherwise, dili ipadayon. Nakuha?
Yes, sir. Gets na, sir.
Gets na. So, buhaton po ninyo siya sa remove water. Kaya ang remove water, alangan naman magsigag remove og water. Kasi same scenario ni siya sa remove water. Basta makita ninyo na, try ninyo. Mag-remove kag water, let's say, remove ka 600, tapos next, remove na po kag 300, tapos remove kag 400, negative na imuhang current water. I tell you. Yan. So, mao na siya nga scenario. Okay? I just forgot one thing or one more para mahumanta. So, public int remaining at tumutangan para mura ka na sa flash drive gani na siya murag remaining og naa siya balo siya kung pila na lang remaining. So remaining is capacity minus current water para wala dahil tayo current water. Yun, current water. So ibutang nato siya diri sa dungag na lang nato diri. So makita ninyo ni ron. So remaining niya will be remaining. Remaining liter. Para medyo namoy idea unsaon nyo to pag-solve ang number 5. Ayan. Motong hint. Okay? Pwede to nyo gamiton or depende sa inyo ha. Ay, wala din na backslash t na to. Ay, n. So, backslash n sa ta. Remaining. Ayan. So, I just created a remaining here para magamit ninyo ni siya. Okay, actually, magamit ninyo na siya sa inyong program. Okay, 1,000 liter remaining kay 0 pa man. So, add water. I have 600. So, 600 liter is added to your tank. So, 400 na lang ang remaining. So, dapat 400 na lang ang pwede na ako ma-add or less than. So, meaning, ang ma-add na ko sa ako ang tank either 400 or below sa 400. Beyond that, mangutana na kadapat. Okay, nakuha na ninyo. So, sayang. Anyway, sige lang. Basta, oras yung buhaton. Okay, di na ako magpadayon. Basta kay para, I will leave it to you at your own para you're able to solve that. Okay? Sige.
Logic, sir.
Logic. Okay. Kasi nice na siya nga logic para sa tong. Of course, we don't want that to happen kung sa reality. Tama? Di na to na pwede buhaton sa reality kay masayang ang tubig. Okay? Sige. Anyway, question. Question so far?
Okay na, sir.
Okay na, very good. Sige, I want to show all your faces. Can you do that for me?
Yes, sir. Ay, sir,
Sir, wala ko yung camera, sir. May PC
Screenshot
ako gamit, sir.
Unsa?
Wala ko yung camera.
Wala may kamera. Saan na? Ay,
Sa ako ba, PC?
Sir, pwede may pag-screenshot atong ban, sir.
unsa?
Tingnan, nara ko i-send ko eh. Nag-screenshot ko tanan.
Sige. Nice.
Sa program?
Ipasam ka tuloy, sir.
Sir, katong task, sir. Katong task.
Ay, di na lang nako ihatag ang program, no? Kay para ma-challenge mo, maghimo.
Hatag, sir.
Hatag na noon ako. Sige, hatag na lang. Okay, kamo na'y bahala daw sa niyo na. Okay, sige. Anyway, yun, ka mga pugi, mura og kuan. Murag si Coco.
Nangaligo tayo, sir.
Coco niya gila. Nangaligo? Lagi?
Ako sa beach, sir.
I hope to visit the Oro po no. Ilaag ko nyo dira ha. Nga, kanang lami kayo ng mga crabs. Na may mga crabs dira. Sige. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Smiles. Without smile. Alright, so murag sa man na yung iro. Murag gusto naman manakit, no? Sige. So, I guess we call it a day. Thank you guys for joining in. Have a great day. See you guys soon and have a great day. Bye-bye ahead. Bye-bye. Love you all.